day everyone, my name is Lefaseguna and these are my group members Naomi, Gugu, Stacy, Shadi and Maya. We are first year students at the University of Johannesburg and we are currently studying Operations Management, which falls under the Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment. In this video we'll be documenting the operations processes of Modrac.
As part of our assignment, we'll be recording the activities our group has performed in taking the process of transforming metal raw materials into enclosed racks as final products. We were also looking at the challenges faced during the process and the measures in place to ensure productivity is maximized. Modrac is a one-stop shop for all enclosed racks. They provide anything from audio or video, multimedia equipment to complex monitoring system racks. Modrac forms a part of large African network. Modrac manufactures their racks from metal sheets supplied to them. They cut the sheets, bend the cut pieces, paint and coat them, and then they assemble the final product. This is done in a typical assembly line style. This obeys Adam Smith's division of labor process.
The process of Modrac starts with designers. When a client calls in and requests for a product that has not been created before, all the specifications of that product have to be sent to the designers. It is their responsibility to look at the request and figure out how they will be able to make the product. A lot of factors have to be taken into consideration. For instance, the size of the product is one of the biggest factors, as the machines can only produce products of a certain maximum size. They also look at the materials that they will be using to create the product and the time it will take to create the product. It is also the responsibility of the designers to come up with a quotation for the product. When the design has been put together and all the specifications have been calculated, the design is sent to the programmer, who then plugs the information into the system. This tells machines what to do and how to do it.
Once the order has been completed, on an administrative level, the production begins.
When the order goes down to the factory, the first operator will have to figure out what he has to make, how much of it he has to make, and when he has to make it. Some of the orders at times will take preference over others and will have to be done first. Most of the products are made in batches of hundreds or even thousands. This means that the work cannot be done in one shift, and more than one person will be working on that particular batch. To prevent any mistakes, management has to put in place a very accurate and detailed system of recording work done and work still to be done. The job card with specifications is put in the factory and put into the factory. The first step is to cut the metal. This is done by laser and is 80% automated. The operator will have to see what materials he'll be using, plug in the cutting instructions, then place the sheet into the machine to begin the cutting. Modrac uses a double rack system, which ensures that there's no wasting of time and increases productivity. This machine can cut holes into the metals, but in some cases, this can be a long and tedious process, as some of the sheets require not more than one hole to be made. Therefore, there are specified punching machines, which will create holes within a quicker period of time.
When the sheets have been cut and punched, the next step is to bend them for assembly. When bending the pieces, one has to be very accurate.
The programmer will have put in the exact measurements of the bending into the machinery, and all the operator needs to do is select the correct sequence and bend each side at a time in the correct order. In the event that the operator for one or the other reason leaves his post and comes back, he will have to double check and make sure the machine is still on the correct setting before proceeding with work, as any mistake will cause a massive loss for the company. Once the bending is done, the pieces have to be taken to welding. The last thing a customer would want is to buy a product that will fall apart with the slightest amount. Welding makes sure that all the pieces are permanently stuck together and that any weakling pieces are reinforced. The biggest risk in the business is injury from a product. This means you can never be too careful. The next step is also a precautionary step. Welding, even by the best of the best, often leaves nicks and bumps which can potentially hurt or cut customers. To prevent this, the welded products go for filing, both by machine and by hand file. At the end of this process, a quality supervisor checks each and every part to make sure everything is in order. Once the supervisor is happy, He then passes the products onto the painting and coating.
The pieces are hung onto a positively charged conveying belt. They go through a degreasing, which uses 7 chemicals to make them completely clean. They then go through a mini oven to dry off all the water in preparation for painting. The chemicals used to clean the metals are reused, as this is like a soapy water. They go through the spraying of the sheets, they get drained and put back into the dispenser. This is a very effective money-saving tool. The paint used is in powder form. The belt comes past one employee who will spray the one side, and the other will spray the reverse side. This not only saves time, but ensures that the surface is completely covered. It also reduces wastage. If spraying was done by machine, it would dispense a large amount of paint onto a small piece of metal. But since a person is looking at this, they will use just the right amount. Since the paint is in powder form, it can simply be wiped off at this stage. The next step for the belt is to go through the oven, which is about 180 degrees Celsius, much like our ovens at home. The paint is then baked onto the sheets, and a quality controller will look at the final product to make sure there is nothing wrong with it. The products are now ready for assembly.
The assembly department is separated into different sections, depending on the size of the rack. Each rack is different and requires different parts and different equipment. Separating the different size makes it easier and quicker to assemble each rack. Some of the racks have fingerprint recognition on them. Others need parts like fans and switches, where each part has its own department and its own quality controller. The product will be tested to make sure that they work, and each color-coded sticker is placed on it. Each color represents the person who tested the product. This is also a form of monitoring the employees to make sure that they're doing their job properly. Should the same color sticker keep coming back with problems, it means that the particular employee does not understand what is required of them, and proper training can be provided. Go. Another time and cost reduction measure in place is seen with the glass. Locks are put into the glass doors, and this means that a hole has to be cut into the glass. This can be very time consuming, and the equipment used to cut it would be needed. The manager has found an easier way where she orders the glass in bulk that has already been cut by the suppliers at no cost. Once the rack has been constructed and placed and has passed all the quality control tests, it is then wrapped and packaged for delivery.
What would you say in your division is a challenge you're facing right now?
I know that we have got a problem that I've been accused of being too slow at getting the quotes back to date. The problem is, to quote on a job, you have to have a knowledge of what needs to be quoted on. We have to quote on jobs before we've even got a design in our head. Somebody would say, quote on this box, and we have to sort of, through experience, just visualize the thing and compare a price with something else, but it's not necessarily correct. But we have to quote quickly. You know? Then we are criticized later that how do you come up with that price? Well, it's an educated guess. So quoting is a bit of a problem, because certain companies like DataNet, they have a policy where they want to get back to their client with a quote within half an hour or an hour. That's fine if you are, let's say you're in Pinnacle's position where you need to quote on selling a tablet or a laptop. It's easy. Phone the supplier, what's the price on your laptop? 10,000 rand. You put your markup on, there's your quote, you sell it for 11,000. It's not quite that simple with us. We have to work out all the material prices, do a full costing, all the operations, the laser cutting, the bending, the powder coating, the assembly, quote in a bit for design work, and then decide on what the margin's going to be for that particular client. And you don't do that in half an hour. It can sometimes take me 2 or 3 days to get back to another price. Then the start.
Mardrug has critically looked at all operations processes of a factory. They have found ways to improve the efficiency, quality, and reliability of their products and services. There are a number of challenges they are facing at the moment, which entail government and CETA regulations, the economic situation, and the effects of globalization. These problems are outside of the organization's control, and there is nothing they can do to change them. The only problem that we identified was the issue of quoting clients.
The designers simply cannot come up with an accurate quotation in the limited amount of time they have. This is why they have to look beyond their human abilities. Our recommendation is that Modrack purchases or designs a software program that will complete this task for them. When a client calls with a new design, all the designers will have to do is put in all the little details of the rack, the size and the materials, and the amount of time it will take to make the rack. Since the prices of the product and all the costs of production will be pre-programmed into the computer, the calculation of the estimated price will be calculated in a matter of minutes. Not only does this save time, but the quotation will be more accurate. We would like to thank you for watching this video, and we sincerely hope you took away knowledge of the operations process of Modrack.